Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Alleged Actually Podcast. Today, it's the Bravo Bestie Breakdown, and we are going to get right down to this season 14 reunion part 1 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Y'all, there are other things going on in the Bravo universe, but we're not even, this deserves its own show. Not even going to bring up the other stuff. Joey, part 1. What you thinking? How's it coming?
It was like a way more intense part 1 than I thought we were gonna get. I felt like it was very episode 3-ish. The vibes were just, they came in hot. I mean, a lot of surprises. I felt like their attitudes were flaring. I was like, my Lord.
It was shocking. We talked about last week how lackluster the finale was. They must have heard us.
Literally. They were like, we'll show you.
Yes. So, guys, really quick, if you are new over here, we do reality TV recaps. We are focusing lately on that wonderful channel called Bravo. All the Bravo shows right now, but we do all reality TV. We do pop culture. So if that's what you like, you're in the right place. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for subscribing and tuning in. Go ahead, like the video, share with the masses, slide in the comments, honey, because we have lots to say today. And we want to hear your thoughts as well. And hit that notification bell if you haven't, so you'll know when we drop this good content. All right. Well, since it's a reunion special, if you watch, you know that one of the first things we like to do on part 1 is talk about who we think had the best look of the night and our honorable mention. So, Joey, I'm going to let you have the floor.
My favorite look was not even a question. It was Erika Jayne. I just thought she looked insane in that dress, and it wasn't even over the top.
No,
for her especially. It fit her body like a glove. She owned that dress. I was mesmerized.
I will give it to you. I agree. That's why sometimes I had already made up my mind, and I didn't change my pick. But yeah, I when I saw her literally on the show, on the stage, on the set, I was like, okay, Erika was giving. I agree. It's a beautiful dress. All right, Joey, what we got for honorable mention?
Honestly, I never do this. I have a tie. I really couldn't decide. I really, really loved Bose's whole vibe.
Right.
I really did. But it didn't take away from the fact that I just thought Sutton's dress was gorgeous. I thought it worked great for her body. It hid those chicken legs. It just I thought she looked beautiful. And I don't even like Sutton, but I do like Sutton, but not this season. But I really, the two of them, I thought really, really brought it.
I'll give you that. And let me just say, holistically, I thought everybody's dresses looked really good. But they can't all get best dressed and honorable mention. Joey, those were great selections. For me, my best look goes to none other than Garcelle. Yeah, I thought she looked flawless. And particularly, I wanted to give it to her because in reunions past, she sometimes just slightly misses the mark. Whether it's her hair I don't like, or something. But this whole look cohesively, I loved on her. I thought she looked stunning. And gosh, after last night, let's give her something, okay?
Oh God.
Woo, we will get there. Okay, so she was my best look of the night. And then for me, my honorable mention, Joey, I will agree. It went to your first look, none other than Miss Erika Jayne. She looked flawless.
Flawless.
She looked she should be the new Oscar statue.
I'm telling you.
She did. She really looked good. And I also want to say I agree. Sutton, that look was very, very flattering. It was really, really pretty. I mean, I liked her hair. She looked very soft, which we had talked about without makeup. She's actually a pretty woman, period. But
yeah,
she looked great last night. So yeah, those were our choices. You guys slide in the comments and let us know who were your faves, what you thought about their looks of the night. So, Joey, we are going to get right into this recap. You know, the ladies are, as usual, getting ready in their dressing rooms. We see Sutton go visit Garcelle and give her a gift. I don't know where that came from. Not sure why, but it was a vibrator for those that watched.
Which has nothing to do with the reunion. It was so weird.
It's very, very awkward. But just setting the tone for the night. And then we have Dorit checks in with Bose. This is her first reunion. And Bose is not nervous, really. I mean, you know, Bose is a boss. And we also hear Garcelle and Sutton talk where Garcelle says, and correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember what the media network was, but Garcelle was mentioning to Sutton that when asked about Kyle, you know, Kyle said she was okay. Was it TMZ or?
I think it was TMZ. They got her at the airport or something.
Right. And she said that she was good, like they were good. So Garcelle was kind of going in thinking, okay, you know, that was surprising, but she thought maybe they were good. Maybe not. So the ladies all get to set. They look gorgeous. Everybody is really looking nice. And we open up with Dorit. We have a big montage of Dorit's season. Epic season for Dorit. Joey, I see you making faces. Hop in there. What you got?
So first thing is, were they at a motel?
I'm not sure.
Because there's like numbers outside like the doors, and then like when it opened up, they were in like a living room, and I was like, are they at like a motel?
I don't know. You know, I'm not sure.
It really threw me off.
Yeah.
And then before we even get to Dorit's montage, the irony. Garcelle says when they're setting their intentions that they should all be able to talk things out and take a group photo at the end.
She did.
Which I was like, isn't that rich? Knowing what we know from the trailer of the reunion.
Yeah.
Like, girl.
I know. Lots of shade thrown at Sutton too. Yeah.
I mean, it was just, I was like, God, this is just going bad from like the start, but... But anyway, back to what we were saying. It was the season of Dorit, in my opinion. I see you're getting a ton of hate online, which I don't really understand. I feel like all like my favorites from Beverly Hills get like a ton of like hate, like Dorit, Erica. I don't know.
People have been doubling down. I personally got really upset with a lot of the hate that was coming towards Bose. That really made me mad.
What were they mad about? I didn't even see any Bose hate.
They were mad about her appearance with Erica on Watch What Happens Live on last week. And it was after the finale. And they were reacting to Garcelle's announcement that she was leaving. Now, my thoughts were, number one, because it was like a whole like beat down on Bose with a lot of YouTubers, a lot of content creators, particularly ones of color. And I was really angered by that because I'm like, guys, listen, number one, let's watch the reunion and see why you're getting that body language and why she is reacting the way she did. We don't know what happened. Number two, let's be clear. I don't recall seeing Garcelle warmly embrace Bose the minute she hopped on the scene. So I don't know that they were the closest on the season anyway.
Not at all.
No.
And, like, I really can't speak to, like, the color thing because, like, you know, I'm just this, like, white kid from, like, Connecticut. But I feel like, right, even, like, last night, and, again, we're jumping ahead, but this is what happens with ADD. So, like, I feel like almost, like, Garcelle was, like, trying to imply that she just thought they would automatically be friends because of, like, the color of, like, their skin. But I feel like that's, like, not reality. Like, I don't like every white person I meet. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. I don't really get that. I don't know. And I feel like Bose didn't do anything wrong this season. And maybe I'm blind because I just like was fascinated by the whole like facade. But I mean, I loved her.
I loved her too, and it really pisses me off when things like that go down because it puts an undue responsibility on her back. She does not have to agree with everything Garcelle says and does. They don't even have to be friends. You know, in the beginning when some were saying, well, you know, I didn't see where Garcelle warmed, and Garcelle didn't have to warm up to Bose either. I mean,
no, 100% not.
We all don't like each other, okay? Not human being don't, and women, you know, they say, oh, well, you should support women. I support women, but I don't like all women. It's, you know, personality conflicts. To me, I think that is just a very ignorant stance. I didn't like it. It was very unfair to Bose. To insinuate that she was clicking up with Erica, she just may have agreed in how things played out. So my rant last week was because I had seen it over and over and over to the point that fans were starting to turn on her, and she was getting a lot of undue hate, which I thought was ridiculous. Even so far as back as people that have worked with Bose at the different companies that she worked with have said that she did not stand for diversity, which pissed me off. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. The fact that she broke that glass ceiling, the fact that she rose to that level and worked her way up, her book, that within itself. Okay. And I'm ranting again, but stop that, guys. Two things can be true. We can love them both. There's enough love for everybody. Stop. Anyway, off my soapbox. Now, let's get into this reunion part 1 recap. You know, yes, it was the season of Dorit. We see a activated Dorit, as we call it. I gave her a new nickname last night. I was like, Read. I was like, girl, because she was like, whoo.
She came in hot.
She did. I mean, even when it was subtle, it was like, poof. I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of references to Sutton's episode last year at the reunion when she had to be carried out. A lot of that, you know, there was a lot of shade thrown at Sutton, but Sutton took it well. She did. She was a good sport. So we start off with the montage of Dorit, you know, all the things that she went through, everything with PK, you know, the fallout between her and Kyle, her and Sutton. Just, you know, she came to work this season, though. Everything until it comes up to the end with the iconic scene of her smoking the cigarette when she drives off, y'all. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Was here for it. And, of course, just as me and Joey, the viewers love that. And so Andy told her, you know, that was iconic and the viewers loved it. And she thought it was wild. And of course, he asked, was she a smoker? She said she was a social smoker, but now it turned more into a stress smoker. No biggie, y'all, but that scene will resonate and it will be iconic forever. All right. Yes. We get into the Dorit and PK of it all. Particularly the decision that she made to not tell the children they were separating. Y'all, I say it on every franchise 50 million times. Children are so much smarter than we give them credit for, but if she likes it, I love it. They said that, you know, the kids are not asking questions. They see her and PK being friendly and there's peace. So they're happy, they're okay. And
ultimately, it's no one else's business. It's
really
not anyone's kids. Like, you can have an opinion, you can state it, whatever. It's her business and PK's business, and that's the bottom line. Absolutely.
Agreed. But Andy digs a little deeper and says, well, she delayed telling the kids because she hoped that she would reconcile with PK. And she responds, no. But then
then it got really rough.
Yeah.
It broke my heart when she said that she's still in love with him.
I know.
That's so sad.
That was sad. That was heartfelt and it's sad. And I really felt for her. Her exact words, y'all, was, he's my soul, he's my blood, he's my heart. And she said she hates that because it makes it so much more difficult. But she realizes that she needs her peace. So we find out that PK was invited, but he declined to show up. However,
not shocking.
No, not shocking. He did leave us with a statement, and I will read it for those of you that may have missed it. He said, I was invited to be part of the reunion, but declined because I don't believe engaging with Dorit in this forum would be constructive. Dorit has made several mischaracterizations about me, but the one I must address is the claim that I am a bad father. This statement is both heartbreaking and false. PK's statement continued that it's deeply hurtful to me and more importantly to our children who, despite Dorit's assertion, will inevitably see and hear all of this at a time not of our choosing. The Dorit I married would never have allowed this, much less caused it. That woman embodies kindness, integrity, and grace. I can only hope that this version of Dorit finds her way back to the person she once was. Man, please. I mean,
I have like such like mixed emotions. I feel like that statement, it was rough, right? It was rough. But like, was what he's saying false? Like, first of all, like that's like his truth, which is like, you know what I mean, commendable.
Mm-hmm.
But even like, because like Andy asked Kyle her opinion, right? Like, do you think that Dorit has changed? And of course, Kyle like, an opportunity to talk about Dorit, like, yeah, blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
I want to get to the bottom of why her changing is a negative, right? Because like life is about evolving and she's evolving. We saw her as this kind of like, when she came on, quiet-ish, you know, literally a housewife, like whatever. And over like the years, maybe, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with like the show, but she's been given a platform to build her own businesses, to whatever, grow into like her own person, and she's more outgoing, she's more outspoken, she's more independent. And I don't know why we keep focusing on that being like a negative thing. That's not a negative thing.
No, it's not. It's not.
And I feel like people need to understand that and give her some grace. Like, if she's the same person she was 10 years ago, there's an issue. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, and I hope I'm not the same person now I'm going to be in 10 more years.
Exactly. Same. I'm right there with you, Joey. I thought that was very unfair. And I agree with all that you said. I mean, ridiculous. And I'm sure perhaps to PK, he may not like the evolved, stronger version of Dorit. Maybe it doesn't feed his ego. I don't know. But
right, because I feel like, right, he probably wanted to marry somebody that was going to be a little bit more submissive to him, and he was going to be like the leader of the family or whatever. But I mean, those vows, right, are for like better, for worse, for this, for that. So like, so she evolves, she's more independent. Like, who cares? That woman just said that you are her blood, you are like her oxygen. Like, she's in love with you. So like, who cares if she's more independent and more outspoken? It's still the woman that you marry that you like loved. She's still in love with you. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think it's just that old thing where, you know, you're supposed to grow together. Sometimes you outgrow the other. So perhaps that was it.
I do agree that the comments about him and his being a father on national television was not the best look.
No, it wasn't.
You know, but I mean, no one's perfect.
No one's perfect. And, you know, anytime you get amongst people that, you know, particularly when she was with like Erica or Bose, you know, people that she felt comfortable with, you start to share. And in that moment, that might have been just how she felt. I mean, divorce is hard. When a relationship breaks up, in those moments, you have raw emotions. You just say some things you mean, some things you really don't, but it is what it is. Yeah. Andy brings up that she had called PK the monster, talking about his temper. And then Kyle in confessional said that she'd never seen that side of PK, which Dorit was not happy with. That's when she said, you know, Kyle, you're supposed to know me better than you know him. I mean, because you only have a relationship where you have memes and jokes. Like, right?
Get them, Dorit. Get them.
Boom. I said, okay, man.
Facts.
And then Kyle said that, you know, the whole bad father thing and calling him an alcoholic. That was a thing. She harped on that for a little bit. Strong words, true. But she said that she had gotten PK's permission to address that. And they kept saying, well, you know, talking about his sobriety. But not the word alcoholic. And Kyle said that she learned her lesson from how she outed or said those kind of things about her sister Kim back in the day. And I mean,
and like, again, like, yeah, like strong words, right? But like, right, this is like a reality TV show, and like they're supposed to be showing like their real lives, and like that's
right.
what was going on. And if she chose to share her real life, kudos, earn that paycheck. I'm sure she got a big one this season. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The fact that you want to be dating a whole woman and like not even mention her name on the show, like that's on you, Kyle. You know what I mean? Like, you're not fooling anybody.
That whole part, you aren't lying. We will get to that.
And what I love though about this whole situation with Dorit and Kyle is, if my favorite. If Kyle's going to be anything, she's going to be a hypocrite.
Oh yeah,
and she was a hypocrite off the jump, because on the show in St. Lucia, right? She was like, I don't understand why Sutton's like upset with me. She's closer with Garcelle and Jennifer Tilly, who didn't say anything. And then last night, Kyle's like, well, I don't know why you're so upset with me, to Dorit. Why aren't you upset with Garcelle and Sutton? Because you're closer. The same reason you were just mad at Sutton for being upset with you. Well, they are closer with you. You tried to pull a Sutton. So, like, girl, pick a lane.
Yep. You nailed it. God knows that was such. I'm like, dang, girl, listen. I don't even know. It is exhausting. I wonder if she's even conscious of it. But like, I hope she goes back and watches and like, you talk out of both sides of your neck, man. Really,
all the time.
Woo. At this rate, Andy's still hammering a little bit more, and he asked for the question about how long PK's been sober. That was awkward.
Really awkward. Was
it not? To the point where Bose, they're whispering, oh, he's not sober anymore. He's, and she never particularly comes out and says, but she says it's just not a topic they discuss. She's alluding to it. Andy's like, wait, he's not sober. And she says, oh no, that's when they were whispering amongst themselves. She said, Dorit says, I have no idea. She said that his exact words were, it's something I'm choosing not to discuss with you. And she said that gives her huge concern. And she said, the way that it made her feel in the moment, she's like, I don't think that she could have a relationship with him, even a friendship, which was a shame. And I don't know, Joey, what were your thoughts? Because it's like, I was thinking, not just so much of the fact that he said that, like, he's not admitting whether he's sober or not, but the fact that he's no longer confiding in her or talking to her that way, or, shutting her out. Like, she just feels like at this point, I mean, that's how I think it.
It's like really a similar situation, right? To like Kyle and Mauricio. Like, the men, I feel like, are making it very clear that they're done. And the women are just on a hamster wheel, just like spinning around and around and around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, whether he's sober or not anymore, like, it doesn't really have any significance on anything, in my opinion. Whereas, like, the fact is, like, this man is pretty much like done with you. So, like Erica told you months ago in filming, get your ducks in order, get a lawyer, get ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Lawyer up.
And I hope Kyle's doing like the same thing, because, girl, like, it's not going to work out.
It's not. And she would be crazy. She assumes that Mauricio is going to give her a, no, he's not. Girl, it don't work that way. I don't care how close you once were. So, agreed. I think they're both being very naive. I hope it's for the camera, but I don't know.
Something tells me it's not.
Yeah. I don't think so either. So then we get the question to Dorit about the house being in foreclosure. Y'all, that was crazy. And from a girl who, from a woman who does real estate, me and my husband, thinking, now you know better than that. But anyway, Dorit said she didn't know anything about the house being in foreclosure. She explained that it was in pre-foreclosure.
What does that even mean?
Right. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't even work that way.
I don't know.
And for her to say, like, PK had called the lender about a mortgage rate, and because the lender didn't call him back, he stopped paying. Where do they do that at?
I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. Because if that's true, I'm going to call my mortgage broker when we get off this Zoom.
Right.
When I don't hear from him, I'm going to stop paying my mortgage. We'll see
Me
how that
too.
works out.
Same, y'all. I mean, really. And PK, am I wrong? It doesn't PK, isn't he in real estate? I mean,
I don't know what he does. He was in the music
he was
business.
doing
Now what's he
like,
do? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I thought something, but anyway, honey, that is not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. So, even if you don't like your mortgage rate, please continue to pay your mortgage. Wow. Yeah, that was rich. She said in the end, though, PK resolved it. Okay.
But during this exchange, Sutton really called her out on something, and when she said, "Do you know whose name's on your mortgage?" and Dorit tried to play it off like she was all high and mighty, you know damn well that Dorit has no idea whose name's on that mortgage.
No clue. Sutton has an extreme point. Honey, I'm worried for her too. She's clueless. I mean, clearly PK took care of everything, and which is probably why she stayed so hopeful, because I'm sure it's scary for her. I mean, she's got Housewives, but you know what I mean? Like,
right, that clothing lines went poof, right?
It did nothing. It did nothing. Though I really enjoyed her gowns. I thought they were gorgeous.
Oh yeah, those were nice. And you know what? Kudos for being in British Vogue. But I mean, did you get a paycheck for that? I'm not really sure. I don't know. I mean, all you have is Housewives, which I mean must pay semi well, but not for her lifestyle.
Not for her lifestyle. And I don't like to, I see a lot of rumor stuff, but then the thing with the hairstylist that was saying she didn't pay her bill for her,
not a good look for her.
That was not a good look for her.
That guy came prepared. He had
I tried to say he had receipts.
He had receipts, yeah. I mean, I don't care what the back and forth was. At the end of the day, he had a text of you saying, "That's fine, put it on my card," and then you were mad he put it on your card. I don't know.
I know. I was thinking, dang, Dorit, you know what I mean? But listen, I do believe that, I don't think Sutton went about things the right way. I think that Sutton has a point, though. I do think that Dorit is used to a certain lifestyle. And I don't know that she'll be, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not counting money, but the way things are playing out, things that are in the rumor mill, does indicate that Dorit might be living a shade bit above her means, or particularly she needs to taper back with not knowing what's going on with this divorce. Just saying. But anyway.
Yeah, and then let's talk about like the kid thing for a second. So you said that PK wasn't a good dad, and then he made this rebuttal, which is whatever. Mm-hmm. He only sees the kids on Saturday nights if he's in town.
If he's in town. That's what she said.
What does that even mean? You see your kid one night, not even a full day, one night a week if you're in town. First of all, you better be in town every Saturday.
You think?
But who's okay with that? If I was the dad, I'd be fighting that tooth and nail. We'd be in court already.
Exactly. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't at all. That was my next note. But at this point, she did talk about the Saturday. I think from her body language and the way that she's responding at this point, you could just tell it's really hitting her that her and PK are no more. And she basically says that what she believed was going to be a future is not. And she said the realization is really effing hard. And I hear you, sister. It is. So at that point, we give Dorit a break and we go over to Bose, who this is her first season. And, I think per usual, Bose is killing it. She
always,
right? So she gets her montage. We look back on her first season. She had a good season. Her and Dorit became instant friends. Of course, they went right into the whole thing with, Dorit being, Bose being Dorit's spokesperson. Then they also flash back with her relationship with Keely, her fertility journey. And then they hone in on the comment that Garcelle made, where she said that when Dorit and Bose are together, it seems like it's just those two, and then there's everybody else. But okay,
we got to get Garcelle a mirror.
I know. I mean, her of all people, the way her and Sutton were, I mean, that was called out because it's just true. And I'm like, gosh, that's crazy to me. And it could be, and I was thinking last night when I was watching it, like she still didn't get off of it because I thought, well, maybe with all the things that she went through as far as realizing that, Sutton, like particularly when they were in St. Lucia, didn't have her back like she always did. And maybe then I thought she would dial it back a little and be like, well, I too, went in hot for my dear friend. So maybe, I can see it now, but no. She was still on that. So Andy asked Bose if she had watched the show before. And of course she had. I don't think she would be a part of something she knew nothing about.
She's a woman that does her homework.
Right. Absolutely.
And I actually loved her answer.
Which answer?
The answer is if you've watched the show and what she thought, watching versus being on it.
Oh, yes, about the intensity of the relationship.
Yeah, because I feel we've had these discussions a lot. They're all over social media about how real are the Real Housewives, well, in most reality TV shows, I guess. And I think that we always, say or infer that a lot of this has to be production pushed and storylines and blah, blah. But last night, and again, she's working for the machine, so who knows if she was told to say whatever.
Right.
But her answer made it seem a lot more real than I think we give it credit for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she said, as a viewer, you're yeah, this, that, and the other thing. She was then when you're in it, she was you don't realize how intense it is and how much time you're spending with these people and how the relationships really are so strong and the rifts and the da-da-da. And I thought it was a really interesting answer because I've always been on the train of this is entertainment. And yes, it is their real lives up to a point, but I thought a lot of the friendships and the fighting could have been a little for the cameras, but her answer really wasn't giving that at all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I agree. I was like, okay, well, that's good to know because, I wonder sometimes because, the whole thing when they say, well, we're going to have it you bring her on as your friend when some of them actually don't even really know each other.
Right.
But her answer, and sometimes I think every franchise is a little bit different. Beverly Hills, for the most part. And you know what? I got so sick of hearing the Fox Force 5 or Fox Force 4,
yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
So I had to look it up because I was like, what is this? They keep saying it. And so apparently that referred to Erica, Kyle, Lisa Rinna at the time, Teddy, and Dorit.
Dorit, yeah.
Dorit. And so, of course, we no longer have Teddy or Rinna. And so...
Amen.
No, and shout out to Teddy, God prayers and healing for sure. But I don't need to see. And I don't want Rinna on my screen. Yeah.
And what a beast to go right back to your podcast, right back to work. Right? Kudos.
Listen, Joey, I know because I'm thinking, how about the times I call out of work sometimes for my sinus headaches? I could be ashamed. Jesus. I mean, really, girl, but you're big. I mean, she's a strong woman. Yeah, that was very, new respect. But yeah, made me second guess myself. Just a little bit harder, Sherry. You have no excuse.
I still don't want her back on the Housewives, but kudos.
No, I don't either. But yeah, for real. Wishing her lots of healing energy. But now I'm completely lost my train of thought, but
I'm sorry, we always do this.
No, it's fine. No. So the friendships, the intensity of the relationships are genuine. And I believe at Beverly Hills, I could see that. Because it's hard for newcomers, generally speaking, for Beverly Hills. It's just that Bose came in as a force within herself. I think she exudes so much confidence that you have to give her that respect. She's just not somebody to play with. Genuinely and organically, her and Dorit came together as friends. And then we get a little bit more into that. But then she gets into her relationship with Keely. Now, she talks about how she was surprised at the viewers having such strong opinions. And I'm thinking, how?
How?
How are you talking about?
She's so much smarter than that.
She's so much smarter than that. We've talked about this before, Joey, and I'm thinking, all that she's got to go through to be able to conceive at 47, not to mention she already had a infant, a pregnancy that didn't come through, a baby that she lost. So for a myriad of reasons, it's a very serious thing. And you're talking about going down this journey with someone that you have an exchanges, I love yous with, no real commitment. It just, and trust me, she can take care of a baby all by herself. She has the resources and whatever, but that's not what she wants.
No, because if she wanted to do that, she would have already done it.
She would have already done it, right? So the whole thing still baffles me, but she's staying 10 toes down that her and Keely are doing well. Andy asked if, let's see, nope. She talks about her and Keely, Sutton's. She talked about Sutton's comment about it being a red flag that Keely had never been married before. And I agreed. I agree with Sutton. Solely because, and this has been my thing, a lot of times she's right. If a man of that age has never been married, never even been close, doesn't have kids, they may have commitment issues. And to be honest with you, I found that as I found myself dating at 40 after my first marriage ended, I found that to be true. Well, I can't generalize everybody. Sometimes you're waiting for that right person to come along. But okay, that was my experience. And Sutton's like, what do I know? I don't even have a man right now. So, but thoughts, Joey?
I don't know. I feel like, right, like everyone's different. There's exceptions to like everyone's rule. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a serious relationship now. It's been like a little over 4 years. But to be honest, at like 34 years old, it was honestly probably my like first like serious relationship. I was like a complete playboy. And like, people might have had like an opinion of me, but I just wasn't ready, or I was never meeting the right people, or I was having too much fun.
Okay.
But when I knew, and like, you know what I mean? But with him, it's just so much more than like the not being married, like not having kids. The vibes are off.
The vibes
are like
off.
really, really off.
They are.
And I know she keeps saying like she wants to have like the kid too, but it's not coming across that way through like the TV screen. It's seeming like this is his decision. It's like a lot of pressure. And we talked about how is 2 hours like a long distance relationship, but regardless whether it is or not, like you don't like live in the same. It's not you just like hop in the car and be there in 10 minutes. Like,
right.
Maybe you should talk about like where you're gonna live.
Yeah. Well,
with this child.
Remember, that was one of Lael's questions when they had the dinner.
I sure do, but we didn't really get an answer, did we?
He said he would move there and there with her. I was like, of course you will.
Sir,
but he said he would keep his house too.
Before you're, implanting yourself with eggs and stuff, like get a moving truck. I don't know.
You ain't lying, honey. Because from all that I've heard, that is a painful process.
Right. And she's like, well, I'm already in the process of retrieving or whatever. Yes. Girl, you're going to be pregnant. And then what if he's like, well, you know what? My job, I really can't move. Like, girl, you're going to be stuck.
I know.
But you know what? I said it last week. I'll say it again. Like Eve said, love is blind. So who knows?
You're right. You're right. And honestly, it seems like she is determined to keep those blinders on for that man child. But all the ladies, it wasn't just Sutton. The other ones have mentioned that, it was concerning. Kyle said it, Erica said it. So, okay. But Bose also lets us know that she had a conversation with Garcelle before coming on the show, trying to get the tea. And Garcelle gave her nothing and said, look, I think you should get to know the ladies on your own, which I thought gave her, that's the Garcelle I know.
Garcelle.
Right.
I don't even like her, but you know what? Kudos.
I did. Like I said, it wasn't her best season, but that's more of the Garcelle I know. I mean, fair enough. Because she didn't have to. Because she certainly knows who she likes and does not like and why. She could have gave her preconceived notions. I thought that was really good of her that she did. So then she talks about the criticism that she got with her closeness with Dorit. Dorit also, she felt like it was childish. And Garcelle said, look, the only time that I really had an issue was when we were in Oceanside, that's not true. When they were having a conversation. Now, I wish she'd have picked something else because to me, that was the stupidest one. It was so dumb. You're at a whole table and you're talking. The two of them are talking. They're supposed to shout it so everybody can hear.
Right. You're mad that they weren't necessarily talking to you and you were at the opposite end of the table on the other side.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. And again, right? Just when I'm like, you know what? Kudos Garcelle for not giving her any tea, from her opinions. 5 seconds later, you piss me off again. Because you're such a liar. I mentioned it one time, a comment about your closeness. You talked about Bose and Dorit's relationship the entire season.
Mm-hmm. She did.
And Garcelle kept saying, roll the tape, roll the tape.
Roll on. I know. And then Bose says to Garcelle, she did not like the fact that Garcelle made the comment or alluded to the fact that Bose was being manipulated in the way that, she felt about certain things. And she said, if you believe that, someone can manipulate me to not be your friend or not be closer to you, then that says a lot about how you feel about yourself. I was like, ooh.
It was a good one. That quote will live on in infamy.
It really was. I was like, dang, what do you say to that? I mean, I felt that
nothing to say.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
There's no responding to that.
You can't.
Sniper across the couch. My Lord.
I know. So, all right, y'all. At this point, Garcelle is up. Woo!
Yeah, this is where things really go like
Yeah. You know how when they came and sat down that, and I think I said it, that Garcelle whispered to Sutton, Kyle is not even looking at me. Yeah, she's not happy. So, it was like she was trying to read the room already. Still, guys, I'm going to have to tell you, I was not prepared for what went on this segment at all.
Me either.
I know that Garcelle came off this season as very mean girlish, but she wasn't by herself. And for me, I was upset because I felt like she did this all a lot under the umbrella of I'm gonna be doing this, holding Sutton down. When I didn't think it was necessary, I really didn't think that was characteristic of Garcelle. She seemed much more of a leader than to be co-signing with everything that Sutton did, right, wrong, or indifferent. And it made her look bad. Just was not a good look. That was my issue. As we went through the scene, it was getting to the point where it was getting on my nerves a lot. Me and Joey were talking, y'all, and I want y'all to slide in the comments. The way that everybody just tag teamed, I don't know what y'all think, but I almost feel like there was a group conversation, a group text for something, honey.
Yeah, they definitely all met at Margaret Joseph's house to discuss the takedown before the reunion. I was blown away. I know from the trailer we saw, Garcelle walk off and we hear she never came back and whatever, but for episode 1 and how fast it came on and the fact that I feel as much as I don't like Garcelle throughout the season, the villain was Sutton.
It was. Yeah.
And to come to the reunion and the pile on and like how fast it happened and how intense it got, like so quickly, it seemed very premeditated to me. I mean, again, like I don't know, who knows? Again, because like I said that the boat wasn't premeditated. I still don't think the boat incident was
I didn't feel like
premeditated.
that was, no.
And like even at the reunion, like yeah, they're maybe speaking from like their experiences, but even Sutton was like giving Garcelle like a little bit of like the business, or like not agreeing with her or saying stuff, and Garcelle's like, you're lying. The whole thing was just like really weird. And I was on my couch like having like anxiety, like secondhand anxiety, like watching it. It was uncomfortable. It was awkward. I don't know.
Let me just say that Garcelle clearly was shook. She didn't see where it was coming from. You start to see her body language shift and the confusion on her face. And y'all, I'm unlike Joey. Yeah, I had anxiety. I had anger. I was like, when is it going to shift off to Sutton? When's Sutton going to get a piece of this? And then for her to sit there like a statue, y'all. Well, first of all, then I understood why she left, why she exited that way. You know, because I said last week that I would reserve judgment until I saw it. Well, I saw it, and we're going to get into it, but I see why she stormed off.
But I don't even think we've seen like the worst yet, right?
No, we haven't, because she hasn't left yet. She's still there. They broke the lunch, which we'll get to, but
right. I just like I don't know, man. And again, though,
yeah,
like she's like not like innocent, right? Like
no.
You have spent seasons and seasons and seasons, like, and you know, I will agree with Erica. What do you share? I don't really know. You told about Oliver and his struggles. That has nothing to do with you. That's you using your family member. Who are you, Melissa Gorga? I just don't understand. Any chance I get to shade Melissa Gorga. I just like don't and you have no you are the I thought your whole position on the show was to be like the pot stirrer, the crap talker. So, and then stuff gets turned around on you though, and you're angry about it. I mean, I do agree it was a lot and it was intense, but at the same time, like, I don't know, devil's advocate. I mean, you're not the nicest person on like that stage, so.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But the fact that no one, and maybe we just haven't gotten to it yet, but I hope that like Sutton gets met with like the same intensity.
I hope so. If not, y'all, I'm gonna have a problem with it. You're gonna hear a whole lot of ranting over here. I'm waiting. That smoke better hit her and hit her soon. But just saying. So Andy points out that Erica had previously stated that she wanted to see more of Sutton and Garcelle's real lives or their personal lives. She said basically we want the juicy scoop. And particularly like about her love life. And Garcelle's like, well, look, I've gone on a couple dates with the guy. And then she asked Erica, do you know something? And Erica's like, nope. I just wish you were more interesting, I guess. I was like, oh, here we go again. And Garcelle looks, a little shitty. She's like, that was a very shitty thing to say. And, I think that particularly Garcelle and Eric got along for this season. So, yeah, I think she was like, well, dang, didn't expect that from you. Then, Kyle hops in and says, look, for 14 years, I have given y'all everything. I have shown my children growing up the stuff with my sister, me and Mo, and blah, blah, blah. You guys talked about me and Morgan and I've given all this up. All right. And Garcelle was like, well, last year, you brought Morgan on the scene. We all got a chance to meet her. Then all of a sudden this year, it's like, you're not going to bring her up. And she said, but we see you all the time in the press with Morgan, pictures everywhere, all over social media, which is true. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, are we just supposed to pretend like it's not happening? It's not reality. And Kyle replied that Morgan has no interest in being part of the show. She didn't sign up for the show this season. She had come on before as a favor to her. And she told Garcelle that she was very hurt by what she saw on the show. And Garcelle said, you've done some things that hurt me too. But then Garcelle's like, well, then why did you come to me off camera and talk to me? And Garcelle said, because, I thought you were my friend.
See, this is what she does. This is what she does.
It is. And Garcelle, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It was like, well, I would say, so first of all, Kyle not having Morgan on the show this season worked against her more than for her. I think that somehow in her mind, she thought, out of sight, out of mind. No.
Not at all.
Out of sight, out of mind. It totally worked against her because you refused to mention her, because you refused to talk about her, bring her on. It left that door open for everyone else to continue to ask questions, to keep talking about it, right? Miss, let's just have an open and honest conversations about being open and honest. Be open and honest, girl. Like, I don't understand.
Yep.
And like, you know what? Kudos, Kyle. You did in the early ages. You shared your life.
She did.
You might be second to maybe like Teresa Giudice, in my opinion, for really letting this show just take over like your life. I mean, she has shared so much, but as the years have gone on, Kyle continues to share less and less and less and less and less, and wants to hold everyone else to another standard, which I can't get behind because that drives me absolutely nuts.
Agreed.
But now you can continue with that conversation because I have a lot to say about the conversation.
Okay. All right. So at this point, Garcelle was like, she asked Sutton, well, what did you say after Kyle spoke to me off camera? And she said, I said that I think Kyle wants to protect Morgan. Garcelle was like, no, that's not what you said. You said that was a chess move. And everybody was like, oh.
Correct, because this is what Kyle does, right? You had the conversation before the season off camera as a chess move, and to kind of like make sure that you were going to have Garcelle in line. It's the same thing she did with Dorit with the text message before the reunion last season.
Yep.
Kyle thinks she's like a producer, and girl, like, you're not a producer, and like, you're not in charge. And again, if the rules are going to apply to everyone, they apply to everyone, including you, sweetheart. And it's just not. And Sutton was right. However, you know that Sutton was lying. You know that I believe Garcelle 110% about that.
1,000%.
Which made the whole Garcelle pile up even more awkward. That now Sutton's trying to distance herself as like your soldier, her soldier, because like everyone else is piling up. Weird move, man. Weird move. You're one ally. I don't even know if anyone else there really cares for you, and you're one ally.
Let me just say,
good luck next season, Sutton, without Garcelle there.
Yes, and I can't wait, man. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, all right, I see you now, because when that happened, that's when I thought, because you can see Garcelle looking like, that's not what you said, and now she's like, this is how we're gonna play. This is how we're gonna play. And Sutton barely even gave her eye contact. I was like, oh, girl.
He wouldn't look at her.
Nope. I was like, oh, no, you did not. Woo! So now Garcelle is starting to realize, honey, I'm out here on my own. Kyle brings up how angry Garcelle was at Sutton for not backing her up during the conversation about Morgan. And Kyle claimed that Garcelle was upset because Sutton wouldn't attack her. And she said, no. She said, no, it was the fact that, she should have backed me up because we're friends. Okay. And so.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. Because that's dumb. That's childish. That's very middle school. But I told you, middle school pops out of those ladies all the time.
You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah. It's very stupid. Let's see. So then it said, Sutton was saying, look, I respected her wishes about Kyle not wanting to bring up Morgan. She didn't want to talk about Morgan. And Garcelle insisted that because Morgan filmed during last season, it was fair to bring her up. And then Andy asked Garcelle if Sutton was obsessed with getting Kyle's approval. And Garcelle said, I think Sutton's relationship with Kyle is very important to her. Then Garcelle notes that she backs up Sutton even though she doesn't have to. Oh, no. No. Even though she doesn't have to. No, that must have been Kyle. Okay. No, I don't know what I put in that notes there. So, yep, I'm striking that. Strike that.
Garcelle might be onto something, though. There is a weird thing with Sutton and Kyle. It is weird.
But what I forgot to mention last week that I really had in my notes and hate that I forgot when I said I was going to make the point, there was the comment that Sutton made when she was at the carnival or whatever last dinner in St. Lucia, saying that she just wanted to be a Barbie. I just want to be a Barbie and I want to shop. You know, she just wanted to be one of the pretty girls. And I think that Kyle represents like the leader. She wants Kyle's approval. She wants to be in the Force Fox 5 or whatever it is.
Right. No, you are right. You are right. Maybe that's what it is. Like she sees like Kyle's like the lead of like the show. Kyle's like the star. I need to be friends with like the star. It's like a status thing because, you know, she likes to talk about her wallet and her money and whatever.
That's right.
Yeah,
I can buying that. So.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the same time, right? That's how Kyle views herself.
Oh God, yeah.
Which is why I feel like her and Bose didn't get off on the right foot because Bose didn't come in kissing the ring like I've already said.
Bose could care less.
Right. I know. But I still think maybe Garcelle does have something there that she is right. But at the same time, right? Again, I have like multiple like layers of feelings. Garcelle, why do you care? Because to everyone else, you and Sutton are like the ride or dies. Mm-hmm. So if she feels something about Kyle, who cares? Everyone knows that you guys are our best friends. At least you were before this reunion.
Yeah. And quite frankly, my thing is where it pisses me off with Sutton a little bit is Garcelle, and they went back and showed it when they did the montage on them. Garcelle could have been in a lot closer with the other ladies if she had ousted Sutton a long time ago. She stayed loyal because Sutton was her friend, okay?
Yeah, and it caused a lot of rifts between her and the other women. The fact that she so blindly defended her all the time.
It did. You remember, you know, they said, you know, you defend her to a fault. And, you know, she's causing you problems, but you can't see it. But nope, Garcelle remained loyal. Not working out
for a liability.
Yes, right. Liability. That's the word she used, a liability. Absolutely. And it's playing out right before our eyes, y'all. They talk about the boat trip at St. Lucia when Erica was tearing Sutton up, and Kyle pointed out that neither Garcelle nor Jennifer stood up for Sutton. And then so she was making the comment that, you know, you kept coming at me like, Kyle, you didn't stand up for her, but y'all didn't either. And, you know, then she did the whole victim thing that you were talking about. I gave it to her, though, on last week. She did have a point. So.
Who had a point?
Kyle had a point with, you know, why they were coming at her so hard about the Sutton thing.
She 100% had a point. She 100% had a point, but she has to keep that same energy with Dorit.
I agree. I agree. I do. Then basically, y'all, we get to the thing about Garcelle's comment about the break-in of Dorit's home.
I don't like it. I don't want any part of it.
I know. Okay, but here's the thing. All right, rock with me, Joey. Rock with me. Okay. I thought that the fact that she brought it up this season again was crazy and uncalled for. Last season, when Dorit talked about it a lot, I mean, she had a lot of anxiety about that, whatever. I don't think she was the only one that questioned it out loud.
Far from.
Right.
Oh, yeah, and not even out loud. Never mind whoever else thought it.
Right. So I think where it went wrong is she brought it up again when it wasn't a thing.
Right.
That's where it got problematic. And activated Dorit was not, since everybody else was coming with their grievances on Garcelle, she brought hers out. And she said, you feel it was a setup? She asked her. And Garcelle, yeah, I do. And Dorit said with zero proof, she's like, then I'm wrong. And she's like, I'm sorry if it hurts you. That's how I feel. God, I hated that a lot. That's when it really went bad. I felt like at that point she was defensive, of course. She's been, semi Garcelle had come at her. Kyle went at her harder than I've ever seen Kyle go at Garcelle. And then now we have Dorit, who was very angry, rightfully so. But Dorit brought up that Garcelle accused either her or PK of planning the break-in. And she said, I didn't say you were your husband. She's like, don't put that in my mouth.
I don't care what she said. It was 100% implied that it was PK.
It was. Let's be clear. Like, that's fair. It was. It definitely was. And she said, you did intimate it. And she was like, I did not. She's like, well, who else would it be?
I mean, let's be honest, like, across all social media platforms, I feel like even like tabloids, almost everybody collectively thought it was sketchy.
There were a few details that made me question it. Yeah, the whole cell phone thing.
The cell phone thing, her being like, I think you've had enough, it's time to go, and they just like left. They broke into a home with nothing to collect stuff in. They had to use a bedspread. I don't know. It's just like... But you're right. The issue is you brought it up again this season.
Right. That's where she went wrong.
And I'd like to get into a real quick quote that Bose said that was so intense to me. Mm-hmm. So Bose says, I think it's a very difficult thing to say without any proof at all. So saying that has enormous repercussions. I think it's dangerous of you to say. I don't know if you can see it. I have like chills. Like was that statement, and she said it like stern as like a mother, like getting on her children. And that was the moment that I was like, that's it. Poor Garcelle. Like, she just, I don't know if there's any coming back for her at this like reunion, because the pileups done. Mm-hmm. Everyone clearly feels the type of way. Your one wing woman has left you.
Well, yeah. That's when it went from, the shade, the, disagreements to a more dark, serious, like, girl, you went too far. And I was like, yeah.
But it was bound to happen, right? Because all she does
is
talk about other people and like stir the pot. So like to her, it was probably just another conversation with like her bestie where she's gonna talk about other people because she doesn't share anything about her own life, only about others. And then I'm gonna stir the pot and say all this stuff. And I feel like that one just went a little too far. And again, like, right, you had your fun last season with it. Why are you bringing it up again now? I don't know. And I feel like even on like this like reunion, right? She's still like not talking about herself ever. She's only talking about everybody else.
Yeah, she came in again with the whole Morgan Kyle thing. She's trying to drill that point home for some reason. The thing is, she didn't have to. Everybody saw what we saw last season, and I don't know if Kyle thought her coyness or not was doing anything. Like you said, it did nothing but make it worse for her. So she didn't. None of that was required of Garcelle. I really didn't know what she was trying to accomplish, even with the backing of Sutton. That's okay, but she took some things a little further past that. I didn't understand. I thought perhaps maybe she was setting up because she didn't care, because maybe she had planned to move on. It didn't play out that way, though. It didn't actually play out that way, though. It didn't.
No, it did not.
It didn't. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all.
But wait, did someone say Watch What Happens Live that they like knew she was like leaving already?
They knew after before
her announcement.
Oh, they knew before her announcement. Erica and Bose knew before the announcement because the reunion had been taped 2 weeks prior, and they knew it as she walked off set. And that's when they were looking at Andy. He's like, "Well, I didn't know it," and they were like, "You didn't know it after she's." He was like, "Well, we had a conversation later, and she didn't, specifically state she." They were like, "Well, she didn't take the cast photo." So anyway,
well, you know what? Sutton didn't take it last year, or Garcelle for that matter.
And then there was a time when Kyle didn't take it either. So it's like, girl.
Oh, right, yeah.
So at any rate, this is when, before we wrap it up, she asked, was I the only one that felt that way, to the rest of the ladies about the break-in? And no one said a mumbling word.
Because they know.
Yeah. And then Dorit comes back and says, you tell me who else. Your 4 other people from Twitter. Ooh.
Girl, she forgot to put a lot of zeros after that 4.
I know, right? So I was like, all right, good one, Bo, or good one, Dorit. But yeah, no, it was more than that. But and that's when, Bose came in and said, she mentioned the repercussions. She thinks it was dangerous, like Joey said, and that it was really, really terrible. So at this point, y'all, they break for lunch and they go back to their trailers. And Sutton comes in to check on Garcelle. Honey, let me just say this. Garcelle is better than me. She would have been catapulted out of my dressing room. Just saying. Because don't care about it now. You didn't care about we were sitting there. And she was, so that was pretty much part 1. Joey.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it ended in like such like a hot place that I'm sure we're going to come into episode 2 like really, really hot too. But I mean, I'm just dying to know like the breaking point where she like walks off.
Me too.
Because I'll be honest, like she took a lot in episode 1, in part 1.
With a lot of grace, in my opinion. I mean, she held her own.
I feel like she didn't get angry. She didn't get anything. She was kind of just like, whatever. Like, I don't know, man. It was intense. I'm dying to see part 2. And I hope that part 2 is like not like the sleeper, but yeah. I can't imagine with how hot part 1 ended that part 2 is going to be a sleeper, but
we will see. We will be tuning in. Now, sadly, y'all, I will be on vacation. Well, not sadly, happy for me. I will be on vacation next week. So you will get a double recap the following Wednesday, which is the 16th, as long as our schedules align. Okay. But I'll be posting and I'll be watching, and I hope y'all are going to be watching. Y'all, I cannot wait to see. It's giving. What I think is also odd, Joey, is that there was a point when I was hearing in the vlogs that it was Kyle that storms off. And
well, maybe it's just implied because, like, doesn't she always?
She does. And who's to say that she may not still get up and walk off set? I'm not saying that, but no one mentioned until just right before we got here that it was Garcelle and all of that. So good for them to stay tight-lipped the way they did. Yeah. I mean, I hated to watch her go down like that. That was hard to watch.
I feel just like bad for her with like the whole thing, right? Because she came in as this like pre-known like icon, right?
Yes.
And then like to let this like show like, and this is how like you're gonna go out. It's just like not ideal for anyone. It's
not ideal. And let's be clear, this is not the first time we've seen the Beverly Hills ladies gang up. They did the Lisa Vanderpump, Denise Richards. But I don't know. It hits the Lisa
and look at both of them now have their own shows. Maybe Garcelle can get her own show.
They do. And listen, I think Garcelle had stated that, she still left the door open. Andy even mentioned on his show that, she may have something. I mean, who's to say? Who's to say? But yeah, I hate that she will go out this way, because I agree with you. Yes, icon, loved her long before she ever hit Beverly Hills Real Housewives. So anyhow, y'all, you're just gonna have to tune back in. We'll be watching and come back over on the 16th when we give you that double recap. We'll have lots to say, I promise. Again, If you've made it this far, you need to go ahead and slide in the comments. Let us know what you thought about this recap, what you thought about part 1 reunion, what you thought about the gang up on Garcelle thing. Do you think she deserved it? Do you think it was too much? Oh gosh, all of it. Put it all in the comments. We read them, we'll reply. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.